Hello everyone, I'm very excited to be here today and share my experience with all of you. My name is Ali.MirFallah, PhD in Innovation and Technology Management. My work primarily focuses on technology strategies and how to develop and implement them with organizations and startups. Today I'm here to share a collection of knowledge and experience I've gathered over the years. Hey everyone. So we have already talked about Porter's five forces, which is a fantastic tool for understanding the basic competitive structure of an industry. But the business world rarely stands still, right? Things are constantly changing. So in this session, we are going to level up our analysis and look at some more advanced concepts that help us understanding how competition really work in the real world. This slide introduces the need to go beyond the traditional Porter's five forces framework to analyze competition in a more dynamic way. It highlights that industries and competitive landscape are not static and evolve over time. The slides set the stage of exploring concepts such as hyper competition, game theory, and competitor analysis. Understanding hypercompetition. Ever felt like business world is moving at lightning speed? Well, in some industries, that's exactly the case. We call this hypercompetition. It's where companies are constantly trying to outdo each other with new products, better price, and smarter strategies. The things about hypercompetition is that any advantage you gain may not last for long. So you always have to be on your toes and ready to adapt. This slide explains the concept of hypercompetition, which describes industries characterized by intense and rapid competitive rivalry. In such environments, competitive advantages are often temporary as competitors quickly imitate or innovate. This necessitates a continuous focus on innovation and strategic adaptation for firms to survive and thrive. Now, let's think about business as a game, a high stakes game where your moves affect what your competitors do, and vice versa. That's essentially what game theory is all about. It helps us understand how companies make decisions when they know their rivals are also making decisions, and how to anticipate their moves to come out on top. This slide introduces game theory as a framework for analyzing strategic interaction between firms in an industry. It explains the game theory help us to understand how companies make decisions when their outcomes are interdependent on the action of the other players. By analyzing the potential moves and counter moves of competitors, firms can better predict their behavior and develop more effective strategies. So, how can game theory actually help us in the real world? Well, it can give us valuable insight into how our competitors might react if we launch a new product or process. It can also help us figure out when it makes sense to work with other companies and when we need to be more competitive. By thinking a few steps ahead, like in a game of chess, we can make a smarter strategic choice. This slide elaborates on the practical value of game theory in strategic decision making. It highlights how game theory can provide insight into potential competitor reaction to firm strategic moves, help identify opportunity for competition or cooperation, and inform crucial decisions related to pricing, capacity, and research and development. Furthermore, it emphasizes the importance of considering the long-term implications of strategic actions. Just like any competition, it's crucial to know your rivals. Competitors' analysis is all about understanding what your competitors are doing, what their goals are, what they are good at, and what they believe about the market. By gathering this kind of intelligence, we can get a better sense of what they might to do next and how we can position ourselves to success against them. This slide focuses on the importance of competitor analysis. It explains that this process involves systematically gathering and analyzing information about competitors, including their current strategies, state goals, underlying capabilities, and key assumptions. The goal is to anticipate their future action and reactions to a firm's strategic moves. Understanding competitors' strengths and weaknesses is fundamental to developing a sustainable competitive advantage. Think about it, not everyone wants the same things, right? That's why market segmentation is so important. It's about breaking down a large market into smaller, more manageable group of customers who have similar needs or preference. This allows companies to create products and marketing campaigns to really speak to those specific group, making them happier and ultimately more likely to buy from you. This slide introduces the concept of market segmentation, which involves dividing a broad market into distinct groups of customers who share similar needs, wants, or characteristics. By segmenting the market, firm can better understand the customer base and tailor their products, services, and marketing strategies to meet the specific requirement of each segment, potentially leading to increased customer satisfaction and improved profitability. Within an industry, you will often find groups of companies that are pursuing similar strategies. We call these strategic groups. Think of it like in a neighborhood. You might have one group of houses that are all big and expensive, and another group that are smaller and more affordable. Understanding this strategic group help us see who our closest competitors really are and how we stack up against them. Sometimes it can be tough to move from one group to another. We call those mobility barriers. This slide explains the concept of a strategic group, which are cluster of firms within an industry that share similar strategy along key strategic dimensions. Analyzing a strategic group helps to identify the closest competitors with an industry and understand the different competitor position that firm can occupy. This slide also introduced the idea of mobility barriers, which are factors that can hinder firm from moving from one strategic group to another. Just like some fishing spots are better than others, not all market segments are equally appealing. When deciding which segments to focus on, we need to consider things like how big the segment is, how fast it is growing, how profitable it is, how much competitors there is, and how easy it is for us to reach those customers. We want to pick the segments where we have the best chance of really succeeding. This slide emphasizes that different market segments within an industry can vary significantly in their attractiveness. It outlines key factors that firms should consider when evaluating the attractiveness of different segments, include their size and growth rate, profitability, potential, the intensity of competition within the segment, and the accessibility of the segment. The ultimate goal is target segments where the firm can establish and maintain a sustainable competitive advantage. So, we have learned a lot about analyzing the world outside our company. But remember, that's only half the story. We also need to really understand what we are good at internally, our resources and capabilities. The key to long-term success is finding that sweet spot where our strengths perfectly align with the opportunity we have identified in the market. That's what gives us a real edge over the competition. This concluding slide emphasizes the importance of integrating advanced industry and competitive analysis with an understanding of a firm internal resources and capabilities. It reiterates that while external analysis help identify opportunities and threats, a successful strategy requires aligning these external insights with the firm internal strengths and achieve a strategic fits. This alignment is crucial for developing a sustainable competitive advantage and achieving superior performance in the long run. In this session, I have written important term and definition for each term, which you can use for further study.